Hi, so from the beginning of the class, from the actual syllabus, one of the things that I talked about was um, how qualitatively different the study of linguistics and the view of language is from what you get in your kind of standard English classes, though in my English classes I bring that linguist viewpoint, and I do kind of state clearly that while we will work towards academic expectations in English to get you to master them as much as you can in our time together, that non-standard dialects are also 100% acceptable and in use, especially in the drafting process and discussion boards and things like that, places where you can give authentic expression to your understanding of things, your experience of things in your own words. And then we work towards making more academic and everything like that continuously. So one of the other things I introduce is that I would like you to try to follow some people with that kind of perspective of social media, one of them being Sun Michaud, who is a Harvard linguist, and I wanted to make sure I introduce this and tie it together before we do the actual lesson.
Only broken rules intended to break unbroken people.
So,
We out here. Peace. There's no such thing as broken English. Only broken rules intended to break unbroken people. We out here.
I think this is incredibly important when we look at the fact that a great number of our students are coming, and many of you are in teacher training, so this is even more important. It's not just you as students, but your students, right? They're coming from multilingual backgrounds, and English isn't necessarily their first language. So you have a discussion board, reflections on the statement, standard edited English versus other dialects of English for an English department. And this ties into the syllabus and the course objective. Describe the ways in which beliefs about language and speakers have social consequences. There's entire power relations and hierarchy, and this is what hegemony means, the control of ideas, the gatekeeping of language. It's an extremely important thing in linguistics. Really briefly, though, I was taking a seminar on linguistic justice, and they had a couple of great speakers, including April Baker Bell out of Detroit, and later Sun Michaud. And in the discussion, they talked about, I asked, if anybody had created a statement, like they were talking about doing this, like letting people write in their own dialect and code meshing and using how people really talk, integrating it into academic writing, and helping in the process and making sure that people are stigmatized by not being able to do that. And I said, well, are any English departments doing that? And one of the professors sent me the official statement from Los Pasitas English Department, and I just want to read it. The Los Pasitas English Department values and celebrates all dialects of English. No dialect of English, including standard edited American English, is superior to another. To treat one as superior or correct perpetuates structural racism. Powerful and original writing comes from authentic and diverse voices. We strive to teach all students to communicate clearly and effectively in their own voices. We also acknowledge the value of teaching edited American English as a tool for students to reach certain academic and career goals. So they're not leaving that out, right? Because that's extremely important too. That's a lot of what empowerment is about, teaching people to do that. And so they say their faculty, everything. And so my question, like for students, for you, is do you think this could be helpful for students? And if so, how, right? And so I want you to think of some things. How will it change how you think about writing for the course? Will it help you to feel more comfortable turning and writing for the instructor who tells you it is acceptable to write more in your own dialect for the class, even as we work toward model academic proficiency? Will it help you as a future teacher to start to understand some of the ideas about correct language and class structure and grading that you may have internalized that are really a remnant of white settler colonial institutional structures and their hierarchies? Can you see any ways in which it could help you expand your understanding of possibilities for the writing process? Can you think of any writers who write in what would often be considered non-standard dialects, whose work is ingenious and beautiful? Can you think of any artists, public figures, celebrities, homies you have, anyone else who really demonstrate the richness of non-standard dialects? Does this make you think of potential writing voodoo using these sometimes stigmatized dialects? Do you feel more comfortable rejecting prescriptivist views of language and accepting descriptivist views of language? So, and then I give directions. You have 2 to 3 paragraphs, 5 to 7 sentences for each, and respond to at least 20 of your peers. Post in a comment of 2 to 3 sentences, or more if you wish, for 5 points extra credit. And the course objective, so. And I offer extra credit for anyone who will, really kind of speaks from their heart about this issue. So, out of 25 points, 9 points for adequate length, 2 points for mechanics, knowledge and creativity in answer, 9 points, and peer response, 5 points, then I'll add in extra credit. So, this is an important issue, and I want look at all the art you consume, look at all the movies, look at all the TV, look at all the music, and it's probably not an standard academic English, right? It has its place in life, but it's not the only one. And I think that the idea of it being stigmatized is extremely problematic. And if we look at, there's an entire issue of artificial intelligence and how it is geared towards standard English. And it can't even comprehend those dialects of English. But I'll leave that here. I'll make some questions.